What is true reality, and why can't you see it? You wake up, open your eyes, see the walls, the ceiling, the people beside you, and you believe, this must be reality. But something doesn't click. You don't feel present. Your fingers touch objects, but there's no aliveness. You eat, no taste. You speak, no resonance. And then comes the first question. Is this really reality, or just a copy? Modern neuroscientists admit, your sensations aren't facts. They are electrical interpretations, filtered and edited by your brain, not a direct view of the world. You don't see the world. You see a projection, a customized simulation designed by your internal model of reality. Your brain is an editor, and it edits everything you think is real. In 1999, neurophysicist Christoph Koch conducted an experiment. Participants were shown two nearly identical images, with one subtle distortion. The brain didn't notice the change, but when the picture suddenly switched, alarm systems lit up, as if perception itself was screaming, "Error! Something doesn't fit." This is called change blindness. You don't see the swap until it becomes undeniable. So ask yourself, how many swaps have already happened in your world? Distortions hide in everything, in words you hear, in news you read, in behaviors you've normalized, even in memories, which reshape each time you revisit them. You live in a reality that's rewritten in real time. Now imagine, what if your reality is just one surface layer, like wallpaper covering concrete, like a visual interface hiding code? You sit there looking at a familiar picture of life, but something inside whispers, this isn't it, something's wrong. Want the first clue to true reality? Resonance. It doesn't follow logic. It can't be proven. It's felt. When you're in a real space, your breathing changes. Time slows. You feel alive, engaged, lighter inside. And when you're not, you feel drained, gray, as if someone filtered the colors out. That's the glitch. How does a glitch appear, and why does it show itself? Sometimes it's sudden. You look at a clock, and the second hand freezes. A light flickers, without cause. Someone says something, and déjà vu hits hard. Like you've heard it before, like you've been here before. Not random, not coincidence. That's a rendering glitch, a simulation stutter, a repeated file, and you noticed. In 2018, MIT studied people with heightened intuition. They discovered their brains detect patterns faster, errors, loops, inconsistencies. They literally feel the false. Example, you're at checkout. The cashier says something, and suddenly, you feel like you're inside a scene, not living it but recalling it. Like this is code, like you're in a preloaded clip. Everything around is too perfect, bottles at perfect angles, people moving in rhythm, as if it's all a set. Here's your second clue. True reality isn't sterile. It has randomness, rawness, life. If everything looks like a flawless set, it probably is. Someone is showing you a scene and asking you to believe you're alive. Look closer at ads, news feeds, coincidences where you think of something, and it appears on your screen. It's not just algorithms, it's simulation feedback. Code pulsing in response to your attention. Because in an artificial reality, your focus shapes the scene. You look, it manifests. You look away, it fades. So the real question is, are you in reality? Or just another perfect projection? One of the key signs of true reality is silence. When you enter a real space, in full awareness in a field without noise, you begin to hear everything. Your own thoughts, the breath of the world, the pauses between words, the trembling of space. Where there is no illusion, silence begins to speak. Deep, wordless, real. True reality is not outside, and it is within. You were looking for an exit. You searched the sky, the screen, the eyes of others. But something always felt off. As if you walked in on a rehearsal, not the real event. Now listen closely. Reality is not a picture. It's a state. True reality doesn't flash or scream. It doesn't sell itself. It doesn't try to convince you. It is quiet, direct, internal. You don't recognize it with your eyes. You feel it with your entire being, in resonance, in goosebumps, in a sudden stillness of thoughts. It's that moment in the forest when everything expands. You're not watching the world. You are the world. Psychologists call this a state of deep alpha perception, when your brain shifts from the beta mode of surface thinking into alpha frequency. You stop interpreting, and for the first time, you see reality as it is. In this state, anxiety vanishes, control disappears. You are not observing, you are living. But how do you get there? How do you recognize what's real in a world where every pixel is a mask? Here are a few keys. 1. Stop the outer noise. Close the windows. Silence the feed. Reality doesn't appear while you're still in conversation with its illusions. 2. Find the gravity of the moment, not what attracts you with logic, but with stillness. A child's glance, a crack on the wall, the sound of leaves, the pause between inhale and exhale. Reality doesn't scream, it pulls you in. Research from the California Institute of Perception confirms the brain mostly recreates the past, even while perceiving the present. Only in moments of slowing down does it truly register what's happening now. You don't see the world. You see your model of it. Only in glitches, you catch a glimpse of the real. It's like a crack in the set, a second of truth when you suddenly know, I'm here. I exist. Your heart slows, goosebumps rise, and something whispers, this is real. That is the entry point. That's your way out of the false game. But why does the real feel scary? Why do so many choose the lie? You saw it. You felt it. You almost stepped in. Then suddenly, panic. The mind spins. The chest tightens. Why? Because real reality requires responsibility, and illusion doesn't. In the false world, you can blame the government, your parents, Mercury retrograde. In the real world, there's no one to blame. Only you, your choices, your presence. Neuroscientists call this resistance cognitive inertia. The brain chooses old patterns, and even if they hurt, because they're familiar. Because in those patterns you've already survived. The unknown feels dangerous. So even when truth knocks, you retreat to comfort. That's why awakening is painful. Your entire identity system starts to collapse. You are no longer the victim, not the citizen, not even the good person. You are consciousness, a presence in a body, awareness itself. And yes, it's terrifying. That's why people escape into shows, into endless scrolls. Not for fun, but for familiarity. Because in projection, you don't have to face yourself without the mask. In 2022, Harvard Behavioral Institute published a study. The number one fear among modern people? Silence and solitude. Because in silence, you finally meet your true self. No filters, no roles, no scripts. Real reality doesn't entertain. It doesn't comfort. It just is. And if you choose it, you'll never be like the others again. You'll begin to see avatars. You'll feel who's alive and who's hollow. You'll sense scripted talk and soulful truth. And yes, it may feel lonely. But in that real space, you are finally free. You no longer have to perform. You no longer have to be understood. You just exist. And the world responds, not to your mask, but to your presence. So how do you live in a real world? When the world itself is a simulation, you've seen it now, you know. So what's next? Here's the truth. The biggest mistake of the awakened is trying to explain it to others. You bring facts, clarity, even light, and are met with a wall. Don't waste energy on those not ready. Awakening is not a message. It's a frequency, and only those vibrating with it will ever hear you. Studies show it takes 66 days of practice to form a new neural pattern. If you want to stay in a new point of awareness, you must return to it daily. To live in true reality means stop performing, stop playing by expectations, stop living inside someone else's script, stop proving anything to anyone. Reality is you, raw, present, here. When you're awakened, you no longer react on autopilot. You don't argue with the news. You don't get lost in your roles. You observe, and from that stillness, you can rewrite everything. Your body, your path, your life, even this world. Stanford studies in future state projection showed participants who visualized new reality for 20+ minutes daily transformed their life patterns in 3 months. This isn't magic. It's neuroscience. Change your perception, and the world reshapes around you. So let go of the old. Even if people leave, even if systems break, you're not falling apart. You're crossing into another layer. You're already in a new reality. And this one is waiting for you to act from a new place without fear, without masks. Just presence. Hold your center, not in battle, but in truth. Just be, fully, and the world will follow.